Hello and welcome back to another episode of Project Oarai. Now we're just going to have a little look at Google Earth really quick, just so you can get the gist of what we're building. Now, we're not going to be building too much from Google Earth because I had the idea of building the whole area kind of almost one for one, but with some few changes, until when I actually got around to doing this. I didn't actually want to do that by the time I'd actually got around to it, sorry. I had this idea in my head of a luxury apartment block with some big tower block buildings, and I also wanted it to be kind of a gated community, if you will, in a way. But it's not gated, it's obviously public, but it has the appearance on the outside of being a gated community. And then I came across these assets that you can see me putting down at the moment, and they just look absolutely fantastic. Never seen these before anywhere. I did run into one problem when I tried to use them, which is why you can see that they're PO already. And every time I placed them down in game and then I used move it to move them or just slightly move them, it would lag out my game instantly and just hard crash every time. Even if I just put one of them down, like the smallest item of them, and tried to move it, my game was like, no, we'll crash into desktop, see you later. So the only other thing that I could think of is I hope that when I turn them to PO, they don't turn invisible, like some assets do. So I jump back in the game, I make them PO, and they work. I can move them, I can throw them about, I can grab multiple ones. It's fantastic. Because I plan on using these. I'm probably going to use them in some very luxury locations, just because I think they look stunning. They look really nice, unique. I've never seen these before anywhere. So I'm really excited to start using them. If anything though, I am glad that I've found them now and not before, because we've managed to save a really cool asset for the city instead of using it in other places like I probably would have done. So I'm really happy about that. Now, as for this little car park area that we're building at the moment, I didn't even have any idea that I was even going to put this in, to be honest. It wasn't until I was thinking about it and I was like, wow, the people that are going to live here need somewhere to park. So I figured, why not just hide it underneath the railway tracks? Because, you know, in Japan, they leave no space empty. There's either a car park there or a building there. If not, there's like a little mini forest or park there. They always put something there, that there's never an empty space. So I figured that we'd throw all the car park in, here, sorry. And I could maybe make it appear like it goes down another level as well, so you can fit more cars in. Didn't want to actually go down another level because you'd never see it, so I didn't want to waste time with doing that, because that idea did cross my mind. Like, I've done sunken down car parks before, but I figured I don't want to waste the time and effort and props and stuff on something that you're literally not going to see when we've got so much more of the city to build. Okay, so it looks like we're finally getting round to detailing the grounds around all the apartments. Now, in my head, I had this idea of, like I said, it being a gated community, very luxury. Rich people probably live here and all that type of stuff. It's well looked after, well maintained. And I figured we've got to put a lot of greenery in here, like bushes, trees, little ponds, little water fountains, shrine areas, little parks, all these type of things that a gated community would kind of need. So I go heavy on the greenery. There's just bushes, trees everywhere. Like, I really litter this place, and it's not really affected my FPS, which I'm kind of happy at. Probably because there's not a lot of PO items compared to what I normally try to do. But FPS around here feels really nice, which is good, because I think around some of the stuff I'm building, I'm getting like 17 FPS sometimes, and it feels really bad. Not that you'll really notice in the videos, because I slow the footage down and then speed it up to make it look like, to make up for the loss in FPS that you'd never even know about. So that's kind of my little video hack to make stuff look like it's got FPS when really it doesn't. But yeah, this has to be one of my favorite areas. The amount of detail and how like this looks like somewhere I'd like to just get a nice place and just look out my window for the majority of the day. I really love it. I think it looks fantastic. Definitely one of my best random ideas of building a luxury apartment block area. So yeah, I'm really happy about that. Okay, so before I go any further, I do want to talk briefly. My capture card has been delayed. So depending on what happens next week, I might have to give you another episode that is basically one that I've got saved for a rainy day. Basically one that I've been keeping in case I don't have time to do anything. I've always got something just in case. I might have to dip back into the rainy funds and sadly have to give you another episode because the capture card, I think it's been delayed by about 5 or 6 days. So instead, it was meant to be here on the 10th or the 11th, and now it's not going to be here until the 18th or the 19th, it says. Because I am sick to death with OBS just... Yeah, it's so annoying. Little whinge real quick before I move on to something else, but I tried to record the second part to the main train station in the town centre, and I would press record, I'd tab back into the game, I'd place 1 or 2 items, would get like 30 seconds into the recording, or sometimes even 2 minutes, and it would just freeze and crash. And it did it like 6 times in a row, and I was ready to just take it outside and do things to it. It wasn't going to come back in one piece, that's for sure. So I'm hoping that the capture card's going to kind of help get rid of this whole, because it's so annoying. Like it really is. Like even after my game's been open a while, and it dumps some of the RAM that it's not using, I go from like 89% RAM usage all the way down to like 45, 55, and it kind of fluctuates between that depending on what I'm doing, and it still crashes and it still does all these annoying things. And my rig should be able to handle this no problem whatsoever, and it's so frustrating. So anyways, less about me moaning about this, because I could probably whinge about it all day. Hopefully the capture card comes early and I don't have to give you another rainy day episode, because it's kind of just... It's not a bad episode, don't get me wrong. It's a very chill episode. We're just going to be placing... It's just a residential district along the beach, but don't tell anyone. So yeah, that's basically what's going to be in it. Okay, so now that I've had my little whinge and I've explained 1 or 2 things, I'm basically going to disappear until we get to the train station part, because I want to talk about a few things when we get there. So I shall see you later on. Oh, hello? I didn't think you'd still be here. I thought you might have just skipped to the ending cinematics by now and called it a day. But hey, I guess if you're still here, then you wanted to hear whatever I was going to say about the train station. Which, looking at now, wasn't really that much, to be honest. I was basically just going to go over the layout of it and stuff, because it was kind of difficult with it being at an elevated height like it is, because I wanted it to still make sense when you looked at it, how you could get from the ground floor to the top floor. So I had this idea of using these entrances that you can see that I've made out of PO. So you'd maybe go up them stairs and then you'd go through the doors and you could have it take the elevator down or a staircase. So that was my idea for using them, which I think it looks pretty good, to be fair. It doesn't look too bad, considering it was just thrown together kind of at the last minute. And I was struggling a little bit because I wasn't even sure how I was going to make the top of this train station until I was looking at platforms and stuff like that, and then I figured that I could use these roof sections so that people weren't getting wet and it fully covered them. And if anything, looking back now, I wish that I'd have missed one or two off of the ends, because I've noticed that a lot of them do that. They miss them off towards the end. I kind of wish maybe next time I'm in game I'll do that. I'll go back and take some off the end, because I know that at some point when the capture card comes, I do want to record the cargo line behind this train station. I want to get that done, because that's going to be I've got some plans for it in my head. Whether or not it'll work like that, not really too sure. Okay, so before we wrap the rest of the episode up, I do want to talk about a previous episode that I made called The Relaxing Trip Through the Countryside First Person. Now, I set a reward for anyone that could find a building that was out of place in the episode. And what I mean by out of place is I mean a building that isn't connected to a road, is maybe on the edge of a mountain, maybe in the skybox, maybe in the water, maybe in the middle of a road. It just looks completely out of place, like it doesn't belong there. And the rewards for whoever could find it and win would be, I would build you your own luxurious Japanese house with a theme to it and everything, or you could have a district named after you, or a train station, or if you have a better idea of something that I think would be really cool, we can go with that. But no one has yet to find it, so I want to throw out some clues really quick, and I'm going to leave a link to this in the description for you to go and have a look yourself. Now the clues are, it's not in any tunnels, it's not right next to the train, it is a fair ways out, so you've kind of got to look for it, and it's within the first 5 minutes and 10 seconds, and that's all you're getting from me. So like always, I shall see you all in the next one.